God says, "Listen closely, my beloved soul." This message is not arriving to frighten you, rush you, or weigh your heart down with pressure. It is arriving gently, like a quiet knock on the door of your awareness, asking you to pause for a moment and look inward with honesty and calm. When angels speak of a question, they are not speaking of judgment as punishment. They are speaking of reflection, of truth, of the kind of question that does not demand fear but invites understanding. The question spoken of is not about perfection, status, or how loudly your faith was shown to others. It is not about how much you owned, how many people praised you, or how flawlessly you lived. The question is simpler, deeper, and far more personal. It is the kind of question that reaches the core of who you became when no one was watching, when life tested you quietly, when your heart chose either love or fear in small, everyday moments. Many people imagine judgment as a single dramatic moment, but in truth, this question is already being asked throughout your life in gentle ways. Every time you chose compassion over bitterness, patience over anger, truth over comfort, you were answering it. Every time you fell short and still chose to grow instead of giving up, you were answering it again. Angels are reminding you that readiness is not about having all the answers, it is about living with awareness. If this message touches you, it is because your soul already understands that something deeper matters more than appearances. You may feel a quiet desire to realign, not because you are wrong, but because you are becoming more aware. Awareness is the beginning of wisdom. It softens the ego and strengthens the heart. It allows you to see your life not as a list of mistakes, but as a journey of learning. The question spoken of is rooted in love, not fear. Love for how you treated yourself when you were tired, how you treated others when you were misunderstood, and how you responded when life did not go according to plan. Angels guide you now to understand that readiness is not achieved in a single day. It is cultivated through intention, reflection, and gentle correction. You may notice a stirring inside you, a desire to slow down, to be more present, to live with more meaning rather than more noise. This is not coincidence. This is alignment. When the soul aligns, it naturally seeks clarity. It naturally asks, "Am I living from love or from habit?" That question alone reshapes a life. This message is not asking you to be afraid of tomorrow. It is inviting you to live today with honesty and depth. Nothing is being taken from you. Everything meaningful is being offered to you: awareness, growth, and peace that does not depend on circumstances. Stay with this message. Let it settle without resistance. The next part will help you understand the heart of that question more clearly, not as something to fear, but as something that can guide you into a life lived with quiet strength and truth. As this message continues, understand that the question being spoken of is not something asked to trap you or expose your flaws. It is a mirror held gently in front of the soul, allowing you to see yourself clearly without judgment, without comparison, and without fear. Angels speak of this question because it brings alignment, not anxiety. When the soul is aligned, it naturally seeks truth over comfort and meaning over noise, and this is where real transformation begins. The question is not about how loudly you declared belief, but about how deeply you lived it. It is about whether love guided your choices when life was unfair, whether humility shaped your words when you were right, and whether compassion softened your heart when it would have been easier to close it. These moments do not make headlines, but they build the inner life that truly matters. Angels remind you that heaven listens most closely to the quiet decisions made in ordinary days. Many people spend their lives preparing for success, approval, or security, but few prepare their inner world. This message arrives to invite you to prepare gently, not through pressure, but through awareness. Preparation here means noticing where you rush, where you harden, and where you forget to listen to your own conscience. It means learning to pause before reacting, to breathe before judging, and to respond instead of repeating old patterns. These small shifts carry immense weight in the unseen. If you feel stirred, it is because your soul recognizes that growth is already underway. Growth does not mean you have been failing, it means you are becoming honest. Honesty with yourself is a sacred act. It allows you to see where you have been patient and where you can be kinder, where you have been strong and where you can be gentler. Angels encourage this honesty because it opens space for grace to work naturally, without force. The question also invites you to look at how you treat yourself. Did you forgive yourself when you learned? Did you rest when you were exhausted? Did you honor your limits instead of pushing through them with guilt? Self-compassion is not weakness, it is wisdom. A soul that knows how to care for itself learns how to care for others without resentment. This balance is essential, and angels support it because it sustains a life of meaning. As you listen, notice how your attention shifts from outcomes to intentions. Intentions shape the direction of a life more than achievements ever could. When your intention is to live with integrity, your steps align naturally. When your intention is to live with love, your choices soften. The question is not asking for a perfect record, it is asking for a sincere heart that kept choosing growth even when it stumbled. There is also a quiet reassurance here: you are not late. Awareness arrives exactly when it can be received. If this message meets you now, it is because you are ready to reflect without collapsing into self-criticism. Angels do not awaken the soul to overwhelm it, they awaken it to steady it. This steadiness becomes your foundation moving forward. Let this part of the message settle into your day, not as something heavy, but as something clarifying. You do not need to change everything at once. Alignment happens through consistency, not intensity. A single mindful choice repeated daily reshapes a life. The question being spoken of will continue to guide you gently, helping you live with presence, humility, and quiet strength. Stay present. The message is unfolding layer by layer, and each layer is meant to support you, not rush you. As this message moves deeper, the focus gently shifts from reflection into embodiment. Because understanding alone is not the purpose, living from that understanding is. The question spoken of is not waiting in the future as a single moment, it is quietly present in your daily rhythm. It lives in how you speak when you are tired, how you listen when you would rather interrupt, how you choose when no one is watching and nothing is being recorded. Angels remind you that the most meaningful answers are not spoken with words but written through patterns of behavior that repeat even under pressure. You may notice that certain situations have been repeating in your life, not to punish you, but to reveal something unresolved within you. Repetition is a teacher. When the same emotional lesson appears again and again, it is an invitation to respond differently, not to react faster. Awareness transforms repetition into resolution. This is where preparation truly happens, not by avoiding difficulty, but by meeting it with a steadier heart than before. The question also touches how you handle power, even in small forms. Power shows up in how you influence moods, how your presence affects a room, how your words linger after conversations end. Do they leave peace or tension, clarity or confusion, hope or heaviness? Angels guide you to understand that every interaction is a chance to choose alignment. You do not need to change who you are, you need only to refine how you express it. There is a quiet strength growing in you now, one that does not seek validation. You may feel less inclined to explain yourself, less reactive to misunderstanding, and more grounded in your values. This is not detachment, it is stability. Stability allows love to move through you without distortion. It allows truth to be spoken without harshness. It allows boundaries to exist without guilt. These are signs of maturity, not distance. You might also feel moments of emotional sensitivity rising unexpectedly. This is not regression. Sensitivity sharpens when awareness deepens. You notice subtleties others overlook, tones others miss, shifts others ignore. The key is not to absorb everything you sense, but to observe without attaching. Angels teach observation without judgment because it keeps the heart open without overwhelming it. The question being prepared for also asks how you responded to inner resistance. Did you listen when your conscience whispered, or did you silence it with distraction? Did you honor discomfort as a signal for growth, or did you rush to numb it? There is no condemnation here, only clarity. Every moment of awareness, even now, counts. Growth is cumulative. No sincere effort is wasted. As your attention sharpens, you may feel called to simplify. Simplification is not loss, it is focus. When life becomes clearer, unnecessary complications naturally fall away. You may release certain habits, conversations, or expectations without force. This is alignment in motion. Angels support simplicity because it creates space for wisdom to surface naturally. The heart of this message is not urgency, it is sincerity. The question does not ask whether you were flawless. It asks whether you were willing to learn, willing to soften, willing to correct course when truth became visible. Willingness opens doors that perfection never could. A willing heart is teachable, resilient, and capable of profound love. Allow this understanding to settle into your awareness without pressure. You are not being measured against anyone else. You are being invited to meet yourself honestly and gently. That meeting is where preparation truly happens. Stay with the message. The final layer will bring grounding, reassurance, and integration, allowing everything you've heard to rest naturally within you. As this message completes its circle, the angels draw your attention away from fear and toward peace, because peace is the true sign of readiness. The question spoken of is not meant to hover over you like a threat, it is meant to settle inside you like a compass. A compass does not push you forward or pull you back. It simply points, quietly and faithfully, toward what is true. When your life aligns with truth, there is a calm that cannot be shaken by circumstances, opinions, or uncertainty. That calm is what the angels want you to recognize within yourself now. Readiness is not something achieved all at once. It forms through consistency. Through choosing honesty when it would be easier to hide, choosing kindness when irritation feels justified, choosing patience when outcomes are delayed. These choices may seem small, but they shape the soul more deeply than dramatic moments ever could. The angels remind you that your life is already answering the question day by day, through intention rather than perfection, through growth rather than performance. You may notice that your priorities have been shifting quietly. Things that once seemed urgent may now feel less important, while simple moments of connection, stillness, and clarity feel more valuable. This is not loss of ambition, it is refinement of purpose. When purpose refines, the noise fades. You become more selective with your energy, more present in your actions, and more grounded in your decisions. This grounding is not accidental. It is the result of awareness taking root. Another sign of integration is how you handle uncertainty. Instead of rushing to control outcomes, you may feel more comfortable allowing things to unfold. Trust replaces tension. Not blind trust, but an earned trust that comes from seeing how clarity emerges when you stop forcing answers. Angels support this trust because it allows wisdom to surface naturally. When you trust the process, you become attentive instead of anxious, responsive instead of reactive. This message also invites you to release unnecessary self-judgment. Reflection does not require harshness. Growth does not require shame. The most meaningful change happens when compassion meets accountability. You can acknowledge where you want to grow without diminishing who you already are. The angels encourage this balance because it sustains long-term alignment rather than short bursts of effort followed by exhaustion. As your awareness steadies, you may feel a deeper sense of responsibility, not to be flawless, but to be authentic. Authenticity allows your values to guide your actions even when no one is watching. It allows your words to carry integrity and your silence to carry respect. This is what it means to live prepared, not rehearsed, not guarded, but sincere. Let this understanding rest in you without pressure. You do not need to rush your growth. You do not need to measure yourself against others. The only direction that matters is inward clarity followed by outward consistency. When those two align, life becomes simpler, lighter, and more meaningful. The angels leave you with reassurance rather than instruction. You are not behind. You are not unprepared. Awareness itself is readiness taking shape. Continue living with intention, humility, and compassion, and the question spoken of will never feel distant or frightening. It will feel familiar, because you will already be living its answer every day. Stay present. Stay honest. Stay gentle with yourself. That is where true preparation lives. If this message touched your heart, don't let it stop here. Type Amen in the comments, like this video as a sign of agreement, share it with someone who needs reflection today, and subscribe now so you stay connected to the messages meant for you.